The night was eerily silent. No alarms, no distant echoes of sirens, just the deep, uneasy stillness that sometimes falls before history is written in fire. Somewhere, hidden from the world's eyes, something was moving. A shadow crossing a border, a trigger being pulled, a decision that would send ripples far beyond the point of impact. And then, without warning, the silence shattered. News channels erupted. Headlines screamed. Israel had launched a strike on Iran's nuclear site. The kind of headline that freezes your breath for a moment. The kind of headline that grips your heart in its cold fist. Nobody expected it to happen now. Nobody thought the strike would come so suddenly, so decisively. It was not just another political story. It was a shift, a cold, sharp reminder that the balance of power in the world can tilt in the blink of an eye. Borders mean nothing to missiles. Talks collapse faster than trust. And sometimes history doesn't knock. It kicks the door wide open. As the news spread, living rooms, offices, coffee shops turned into war rooms of speculation. People paused, staring at their phones, glued to their televisions, asking the same question over and over. What happens next? Will there be retaliation? Will this spark something that no one can stop? And buried beneath all those questions, the most personal one lingered in the silence. What if I am not ready for what life throws next? But life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Life doesn't knock on your door and politely ask if you're prepared for impact. It just hits suddenly, violently, without apology, and you either break or you rise. In that moment, when the strike was confirmed, people realized how quickly stability can collapse, how swiftly security can turn into fear. The world was now staring at a potential escalation that could redraw maps, rewrite alliances, and ignite fires no one knows how to put out. But the truth is, the greatest battles are not the ones between nations. They are the ones fought inside us. When chaos erupts around you, when fear spreads like wildfire, you will discover what you are made of. You can either allow fear to invade you, paralyze you, control you, or you can rise, because fear is not the most dangerous enemy. It's the surrender to fear that destroys you. It is the silent belief that you are powerless that burns everything you built. You may not control what strikes you, but you can always control how you fight back. In the middle of all this noise, all these headlines, someone somewhere is making a quiet decision. Someone is deciding not to crumble, not to run, not to give up. Someone is deciding to become stronger because of this, not weaker. Someone is choosing to build resilience when the world is breaking. And maybe that someone can be you. Because when the world shakes, you must become unshakable. When the future is uncertain, you must become unstoppable. You see, missiles can strike facilities, bombs can destroy buildings, but they can't destroy the human spirit that refuses to break. They can't touch the fire inside the one who chooses to rise. History shows us that the most dangerous weapon in the world is not in the sky, not in the ground. It is the mind that refuses to surrender. The strike on Iran's nuclear site was not just a political event. It became a metaphor. It became a brutal reminder that life will test you, sometimes when you least expect it. It will hit you hard and it will hit you fast. The question is, will you freeze or will you fight? Will you panic or will you prepare? Will you crumble or will you climb? Life is not about waiting for peaceful days. It is about building yourself so strong that when the storm arrives, you can stand in the middle of it without flinching. You can't control the storms, but you can control whether you bend or whether you break. You can control whether you stay down or whether you rise. Every time the world is shaken by conflict, by sudden strikes, by unexpected moves, we are reminded of this brutal but beautiful truth. You do not rise by accident. You rise by decision. You rise by discipline. You rise by fighting battles within yourself that no one else can see. The world was watching Israel's strike, but the real question is, who is watching you? Who will watch you rise when life tries to knock you down? Who will see you build when everything around you is falling apart? Who will see you move forward when fear tells you to stop? Because the boldest strikes are not just launched by nations. They are launched by people who refuse to accept fear as their ruler. They are launched by those who dare to fight for their future even when the future is uncertain. They are launched by those who are tired of waiting for the perfect moment and instead create their own. The world may be on edge, the maps may be redrawn, but your fight is always personal. Your war is always with the limits you have placed on yourself, and your greatest victory will always be the one where you chose not to surrender to fear. This is the moment to rise, not later, not when the world calms down, but now, because sometimes the most powerful shockwaves start with you. When the shock of the strike began to settle, another force quickly crept into the hearts of millions: fear. It spread quietly, invisibly, seeping into conversations, headlines, and thoughts. It didn't need permission. It didn't need a weapon. It simply arrived, wrapping its cold hands around the minds of those who were too distracted to notice its silent invasion. Fear moves fast. It paralyzes not just soldiers on a battlefield, but ordinary people trying to navigate their lives. It clouds judgment, weakens resolve, and whispers that maybe, just maybe, you are not strong enough to face what's coming. But here's the truth: fear does not conquer those who choose focus. Fear only wins where focus is lost, and in that moment, when the world trembled, the winners were already being quietly separated from the losers, not by power but by attention. The ones who would fall were the ones who would drown in endless news, in opinions, in panic. The ones who would rise were the ones who locked in, who built their own mission regardless of what storms raged around them. Fear will always knock, but focus decides whether you open the door. The war, the strike, the headlines, they are not your enemy. Your enemy is your distraction. When the noise around you becomes louder than your own voice, you lose yourself. And that is what fear wants: to make you forget who you are, to make you believe you are powerless. But the ones who win in life are not those who avoid chaos. They are the ones who build themselves in the middle of it. Because chaos is not always your enemy. Sometimes it is your greatest chance to rise while others freeze. There were people who, while the world discussed the strike, quietly woke up earlier, trained harder, studied deeper, and refused to get lost in fear's game. They didn't waste their time asking, "What if everything falls apart?" Instead, they asked, "What if I become so strong that nothing can break me?" Focus is not about ignoring the world. It's about deciding where your energy will live. You can either feed your fear or fuel your mission. You can either drown in the flood of uncertainty or build a boat that carries you through it. Life is never going to hand you perfect conditions. The world will always have its conflicts, its crises, its unexpected strikes. But success does not wait for peace. Winners are built in the fire. They are built when the ground shakes, when the sky darkens, when fear knocks hardest. It is in those moments you must choose to lock your eyes on your vision and never look away. People often wait for life to become calm before they start moving. They wait for the noise to fade, the risk to lower, the headlines to soften. But here's the secret life does not tell you: those who wait for calm never build anything. The strong are not built in safety, they are built in storms. The ones who move forward even when the future is uncertain become unstoppable because they are not controlled by what happens around them. They are driven by what burns within them. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions. The world will hand you 1,000 excuses to freeze, to doubt, to step back. But you must decide what matters to you. Will you feed your focus or will you feed your fear? When Israel's strike hit, leaders, soldiers, citizens were forced to choose. Will we move with focus or will we freeze in fear? That's the same decision you face every day in your life. When your plans collapse, when you lose something, when your path shakes, will you focus on what's possible or surrender to what's painful? Will you lock into your mission or get lost in your emotions? Fear is louder, fear is faster, but focus is stronger if you choose to hold on to it. And you must hold on to it like your life depends on it, because it does. The ones who rise, who lead, who conquer, are not the ones who are fearless. They are the ones who feel the fear and move anyway. They are the ones who don't wait for guarantees. They are the ones who say, "The world may be falling apart, but I am building." In moments like these, when the world holds its breath, you must exhale. You must move, you must build, you must focus so deeply that fear has no place left to sit. The strike may have shaken nations, but your mission must be unshaken. You may not control the headlines, but you always control your habits. You may not calm the chaos, but you can command your own mind. And when you win that war, no force, no fear, no sudden strike can ever break you again. Fear will knock, it always does. But if you build your focus, fear will find the door forever closed. The world watched the skies, waiting for the next move, waiting for the next spark. But beneath all the noise and speculation, there was a quieter, more powerful story unfolding. The story of preparation. Israel's strike did not happen overnight. It was not born from impulse or emotion. It was the result of patience, precision, and most importantly, preparation. Success does not arrive by surprise. It arrives by design. It is built in the quiet hours, in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one believes. That's when real power is built. The world often glorifies the strike, the moment of impact, the explosion that captures the headlines. But the real battle is won long before that moment, in the planning, in the training, in the unseen commitment to readiness. When the world is asleep, when distractions call, when others waste time, that is when those destined to rise are sharpening their weapons. In life, most people wait. They wait for the right time, the perfect conditions, the green light from the world. But winners don't wait. They prepare in silence. They build themselves in the dark so that when life brings the fire, they are already fireproof. Success belongs to those who prepare before they are needed. When the strike happened, the world was shocked, but Israel was not. They had been ready. They had studied, mapped, trained, positioned. They had done the work long before the moment arrived. And that is what life demands from you. You must prepare when you least feel like it, when no one is asking you to, when there is no immediate pressure. Because the moment will come when life strikes you without warning. And when it does, your preparation will decide whether you survive or collapse. People often pray for opportunities, for breakthroughs, for life-changing moments. But the real question is not whether the opportunity will come. The real question is, will you be ready when it does? Will you have the discipline, the skill, the resilience to grab it and hold on to it? Most people are not defeated by failure. They are defeated by being unprepared for success. They are destroyed not by the storms of life, but by their own refusal to build when the skies were still clear. They hope the fire never comes, but the prepared build themselves to walk through it. There are people right now in this very moment preparing while others are scrolling, building while others are sleeping, practicing while others are making excuses. And when the strike of life comes, they will be ready. Preparation is a lonely road. It does not come with applause. It does not offer instant rewards. It often feels like you are moving for no reason, building for a battle that may never arrive. But preparation is never wasted. The skills you build, the discipline you sharpen, the patience you grow, they all stack in silence, and one day they will save you when life tests you without warning. When the world is panicking, when the unprepared are scrambling, you will move calmly, confidently, because you already did the work. When the pressure rises, the prepared rise with it. You cannot afford to gamble with your future. You cannot afford to hope life goes easy on you. You must train for the storm. You must build for the strike. You must prepare to walk through the fire without hesitation. There are no shortcuts. There are no guarantees. But there is always this truth. You will face moments in life when the gap between winning and losing will be your level of preparation. Will you have the endurance when life drags you through long nights? Will you have the skill when opportunity finally arrives at your door? Will you have the mindset when fear tries to pull you under? The time to build is now. The time to prepare is when it feels like nothing is happening. Because the next strike in your life, the next unexpected moment, could be tomorrow, next week, next month. The question is, will you be ready? Will you be strong enough to hold your ground when life pushes? Will you be focused enough to move when the opening appears? Some people will spend their entire lives reacting to life. They will move only when forced, prepare only when they are desperate, Fight only when there is no other choice. But those who rise to greatness don't wait to be pushed. They move first, they build first, they prepare first. They choose to live in readiness so they never need to beg for it later. In the silence, in the boring moments, in the lonely hours. This is where victory is built. You do not prepare for life by accident. You do it on purpose, with discipline, with urgency, with the unshakable belief that one day, the moment you prepared for will arrive. And when it does, you will not flinch. You will not run. You will not question yourself. You will move, you will strike, you will rise. Because you built yourself to be ready. The strike on Iran's nuclear site was not just about power. It was about patience. It was about being prepared in silence so you can deliver in the storm. Let that be your mission. Prepare in silence. Build when no one believes in you. Sharpen yourself when no one is watching. Because when life strikes you, it will not wait for you to be ready. You must already be. There is a moment in every story when silence returns. Not because the danger is gone, but because something is coming. After the strike, after the dust settles, there is always a quiet space. A pause where the world holds its breath, waiting for the next move. This is the most dangerous part. This is where the real power begins to shift. Not in the missiles, not in the explosions, but in the silence after. You see, power is not just about what you strike. It's about what you build next. The strike on Iran's nuclear site was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of something much larger, much more dangerous, much more unpredictable. Because the true game is played not in what the world can see, but in the moves that are still hidden, in the decisions that are still unfolding behind closed doors. And this is exactly how life works. Sometimes your biggest breakthroughs will come not in the noise, not in the moments when everyone is watching, but in the quiet when no one knows what you are about to do. The real war is not just about what happens to you. It's about what you do next. When life strikes you, when setbacks hit you, when the ground shakes beneath your feet, most people stop there. Most people get stuck there. But the ones who rise understand that the first strike is just the opening. The story is never over. There is always a next move. There is always a next mission. There is always a next level. The ones who rise do not panic in the silence. They plan in the silence. They build in the silence. They rise in the silence because they understand that the next strike, the next breakthrough, the next victory is forged when no one is watching. The world will always watch the first strike, the big event, the loud moment. But champions know that the loudest moments often hide the quietest threats. The noise is a distraction. The silence is where the real danger lies. It's where new strategies form. It's where silent alliances are built. It's where the unprepared get left behind. It's where you must be the most awake, the most focused, the most dangerous. Never let the silence fool you. Never believe that just because the world seems calm, the battle is over. The storm often gathers again when everyone is asleep. This is when you must decide, will you stay ready? Will you stay sharp? Will you move quietly while others celebrate too soon? What comes next is not written yet. The retaliation, the alliances, the next strike. No one knows exactly when, exactly how, and that is what makes it powerful. That is what makes it dangerous, because power often lives in the unknown, but this is also your advantage. This is your moment to write your own next move. When life seems calm, that is when you must push harder. That is when you must prepare deeper, because no one will warn you when the next strike arrives. No one will announce when your life changes forever. It will happen suddenly. It will arrive without warning. It will demand the version of you that you have been quietly building, and if you have not been building it, you will break. If you have not been sharpening your mind, your body, your discipline, you will collapse. This is your mission now, to never be asleep, to never be distracted, to never let the silence of life make you soft. The future belongs to the one who moves in the silence, who sharpens in the quiet, who rises when no one else can see. The real battles are not always fought on screens or in headlines. They are fought in your mind, in your habits, in the decisions you make when no one is watching. The strike was loud, but the next move will be silent. The question is, will you be ready? Will you be prepared? Or will you be caught asleep when the next wave comes? Because make no mistake, the next wave always comes. And when it does not knock. It breaks down the door. Be ready. Build now. Move now. Because the next strike might already be on its way.